Hey guys, now it has been quite some time since I've made a video, but for good reasons. I had ACL Melbourne, there's been some complications with my family that I don't really want to go into, but let's just say shit happened. And I've generally been practicing a lot, and I've got some new builds for you guys, so I want to demonstrate those to you today. Let's turn this down real quickly. Now, today we're going to probably go through quite a few builds. I'm going to be churning out videos, going to start more regularly, like 2 or 3 a week. It's going to be good. And it's all to help you Terrans out there that are struggling with any kinds of matchup or any kind of specific builds that are happening. Now, today we're going to be covering Reaper, Hellion, and Banshees. It's a fantastic opening that I've started using a lot on the Korean server, and it's helped me immensely. Now, we're going to kick right into this first replay. First, I have to find it. Damn. Alright, so a little bit of backstory about myself. I am a High Masters on North America, and I'm a Master Player on the Korean server, so I definitely have room to improve. I'm not saying I'm like the best player out there, but the whole idea of this is a journey with me to kind of help you learn and experience things before you might actually come to them. Alright, let's kick into it. And here we can see my view. Fantastic. Start the game off nice and easy. So, to cover a few things with this build, the Reaper Hellion Banshee offers a great amount of aggressive and defensive abilities, kind of like how Hellion Banshee did in Wings of Liberty against all types of Zerglings. The only things you really need to look out for is a 2 base spire timing, like the 10 minutes where mutalists kind of flock out, they just start harassing the shit out of you and you don't know what to do, but we can cover this really quickly, because this build offers a lot of aggressive scouting, so you're kind of in your opponent's face when things are happening. It allows you to quickly determine what is happening, whether it's a 2-base Nidus play, in which case you should have map coverage of your own natural and main. Regardless, I don't see why you wouldn't. And 2-base spire play. And any kinds of all-ins we can assess when the Banshees come out anyway, because if he's doing Lingbane Roach, obviously, the reaction would be to fall back, play defensively, and bunker up. The Banshee's going to do a nice amount of job of cleaning out things like the roaches, and you're going to be want to target firing with your Hellions. Or you can make a bunch of bunkers, use your Hellions as a kind of divert, and as soon as he leaves his natural base, send the Hellions in and kill his economy. Because, realistically, he's not going to have anything else. It's going to be completely defenseless. All it's going to be left at home is queens. So how we open this build up is we go for the 12-12 just like you would normally, so 10 supply depot, 12 racks, 12 gas. This map is on Star Station, so it's relatively easy for us to assess where our opponent is, so things like that, they help, but they don't undermine or change the build at all. It's just maybe your Reaper didn't get there earlier, so you didn't get the ability to scout him out as fast, so you miss out maybe killing one drone if the Zerg opponent's lazy. But everything else follows, you get your orbital command center basically around 16-15. You get your Reaper, you rally your first 2 Reapers out. Sometimes there's the option to do the bunker harass, so that means when your first supply when your barracks is finished, you just rally your SCV to your opponent's natural and place down a bunker. You rally your first Reaper to the bunker, and it turns out that most times the bunker will finish and your Reaper will have about a 5 to 8 second delay before it gets into the bunker, and that just makes it so much more annoying. The Zerg player has to now spend extra lava on Zerglings. He can no longer really mine from his natural anywhere near as effective. The queen that spawns at the natural is going to start getting even more damage on it, and sometimes you can even kill them. This sets their lava production behind so much in the early game and allows you to get a nice steady edge. Alright, so yeah, following up with the expansion, getting 100 gas, we're still mining off of the 1 refinery. We build the factory because the second Reaper is still producing. After the second Reaper, we go for a reactor. And generally, when the factory goes down, you want to put down your second refinery. You don't need to, but it depends on how crisp you want to do a quick transition into Stim and your 1-1 upgrades. Now you can just see here I'm just being overly annoying with this Reaper. He hasn't built his queen yet. Some things in his build looks like they're a little bit delayed, but this is what happens when you can get the Reaper to his base as crisp as possible. Now, I got 1 drone kill, I believe. Oh, 2 drone kills. Even more impressive. Sometimes I shock myself. But now it's just to be annoying with the Reapers. If you can kill the initial Zerglings, it threatens the Zerg player to build more. If he's not building drones in this early stage of the game, you can catch up and you'll actually gain an economic lead. Alright, so to follow up with this, we want to get our starport. And you're going to do the switcheroo with the factory and the barracks. And then the barracks is going to build the tech lab, and then you're going to go straight away for the Banshee, then you're going to go for cloak. Now, the great thing about this build is because cloak is so much, it's a lot cheaper than what it used to be. It's now 100 100, still is the same build time, I think, or it's down to 110 seconds. Then you can actually get the cloak Banshees out, and then the whole point of that is to aggressively attack the 3rd base. Now, in this game is a perfect demonstration of why this works, because our opponent actually gets super aggressive, and we'll show you how. When the Reapers and the Hellions get out there, they're obviously a fantastic asset to have at getting the information we need to really assess what's happening with our Zerg opponent. Now, my Reaper and my Hellions continue to scout out. I'm a little bit ballsy. I go out with my first 2 Hellions and my first 2 Reapers and just go, I'm just going to be aggressive with them. I can see he's going for a 3rd. Get there. Oh, there's Evolution Chamber. There's some Speedlings. Okay, so he's got gas. Obviously, we continue to produce our Hellions. There's a bunch of Overlords here. That doesn't really tell us too much. But at this point, it's kind of like continue going on with the build. Make sure your rallies and everything is set. Continue to produce SCVs. Like, never stop. Think in your head. Macro, 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 macro. I've got a bit of a small supply block here, but no worries. Now, one thing to note with this, however, is because there's no creep spread around his 3rd, I'm learning 2 things right now. 1, he's not pursuing any more queens, which means there's no creep spread, which means where is his money going into? If his money is going in, like, not going into queens, it has to be going somewhere else, so you need to kind of drop a scan. Around the 8-minute mark is a really good way to drop scans, but because you're using this strategy, the Reaper Hellion's really good. Now, we see roaches. We cancelled his 3rd, and now I'm seeing an influx of roaches, more than 3. Okay, sometimes some Zergs will build anywhere between 3 to 5 roaches, and the entire idea of these roaches is to push creep. Because if they can push the creep, then that's fantastic, but normally you would also see another influx of queens, like a 2 to 4 queen build. Currently my opponent is on 2 queens. So we continue to be aggressive, we'll rally up. The Banshee's going to be doing all the damage for us and doing the scouting, which is fantastic. Oh, look at that, he tried to put down his 3rd. Let's go back and deny it. Denying a Zerg's 3rd while getting a 3rd of our own is massively beneficial. Okay, I can't stress that enough. I'm going for my 1-1 upgrades, I'm now building my infrastructure, so my extra barracks, things like that. Oh, some more Zerglings, I'm just going to fry these up. He can't touch my Banshee because there's no creep spread, which means queens can't get to it. I haven't seen any evidence of any more queens, so I can just dance around with these 2 types of units. I got the overhead supply with the Banshees. I just cancelled his 3rd again. Fantastic. Add down extra gas. 3rd CC is going pretty well. Look at that, get barracks 4 and 5. Everything's going smoothly. Armory's going up. Cancel the 3rd once again. And if he was to all-in us at this particular point, we could just chase him all the way back, like kite him all the way back to our base with the Banshees. And then I could just run my Hellions into his main. A scan, oh look at that. Finally here's 1 dedicated queen to spreading creep. And we kill that quickly. 2 Banshees, DPS down a queen, we killed his extra tumor. Okay, what can he do from here? The only options he has left is to try and all-in me, or he can try and macro out of this, but I'm going to have a huge advantage now going into the mid-game. So, I just go back to macro phase. I don't need to really worry about much. I can dance my Banshees around. They're going to tell me all I need to know. I've seen gases 2 and 3 at his natural, and that could indicate spy play, but because he's invested money into roaches, you're probably not going to see that come out. What you'd mostly see from a Zerg player in this situation is like a Ling Bane roach all in.
Upgrade complete.
Off of 2 base. But it's so delayed, and I have so many more units, and my infrastructure is so good at the moment that it doesn't matter. Now, this is a good indication of what he's doing as well. Get up here, I can see both the evolution chambers are researching something. So it tells me he wants to get upgrades. I'm just going to be aggressive. My banshees have cloak, he doesn't have a spore crawler there. So we'll just get up nice, close and personal, start DPSing down basically anything and everything we can. The banshees have done a fantastic job at actually cleaning out as many of these roaches as possible. And now I'm just going to fry up some of the extra drones. But the banshees are at a point now where I can just get rid of them and just kill everything I can. Look at that, just raking up the drone kills. This is basically GG in my opinion. Like, I don't know what the Zerg player can do from here. Also, you'll note that I switched my factory that had, no, my starport and my factory. So my starport got the reactor and my factory got the tech lab. What you do then, if you've synced your armory up nice and neat for your 2-2, is you start getting the drilling claws upgrade for your widow mines, and you add down a second factory, and then you put a reactor on that factory. So you have a little bit less mines, but if the damage I've done has actually happened, you actually go out in the field with a bunch of mines with drilling claws, your 2-2, and you've got your bio infrastructure. Supply blocks, once again, not the best thing to kind of highlight, but without it, it still doesn't make a big difference. Like, the Zerg player is a base behind, basically. He'd have to double expand to get out of this, and he'd have to double expand, and like, I wouldn't have to hit him until like the 18-minute mark for him to get back into this game. And I have like 3 bases saturated, so my economy is about to explode. So just that careful eye about, oh, okay, I'm going to continue to see a huge increase in my economy. I'm going to make sure that I keep building like two supply depots at a time, because you got to think of the maths. When you've got 8 racks and they're each producing like 1 marine or 2 marines at a time, you could be building anywhere up to like 16 supply worth of units. So if you're not building at least 2 supply depots and constantly building 2 supply depots after each other, you'll find yourself being constantly supply blocked. So yeah, now it's just about getting my bio upgrades and going out for a 2-2 timing. So I'm actually started my +3. So that's how well this is working out. My +3 has started at the 14-minute mark. Very impressive. Very impressive. And we're going to push out now with a marine bio timing, like bio mine timing, which is fantastic because now I can assess if he's doing anything. Oh look, mutas. That's fine. It doesn't bother me. If he was to do mutas now, he's only going to have anywhere between 6 to 8. 1 turret is completely fine to hold off that amount of mutas. It's only when they start hitting anywhere up to like 12 to 20 mark, where turrets just kind of don't feel like they do enough anymore. You've actually got to start leaving mines next to your turrets. And I can quite comfortably push out. He doesn't have banelings because all of his money has gone into the spire tech, has gone into the upgrades, whatever that is. He's probably gone for the 1-1 on his lings, if we just take a quick check. Oh, look at that, he's even 2-1. So off of 2 bases economy, he's tried to go for a hive, a lair, a roach warren, a spire. He got speed, he got double upgrades. Can't imagine there being anything on these, no. And now he's building a bunch of overseas, and he's committed to mutalisks. So there's 9 mutalisks here, that's 900 gas, you know. There's 2,500 gas in each gas guy, so he's not going to mine that much by the 15-minute mark. I'm in a very comfortable position to keep pushing on him. He doesn't have banelings, so this tells me he's gas starved. He's likely gone back into a droning phase and tried to get extra bases. So we're going to continue push through here. He's just morphed in a bunch of overseers underneath of my mines. Continue to rally. Now we can start dropping because I'm forcing an engagement, so all of his attention is now here. And it just demonstrates he doesn't actually have anything. I scan, there's an extra base, there's the GGs. If we look at the actual overall of the map, he had this base over here, but it had absolutely no saturation at it whatsoever. It was actually going for +2 carapace as well, so he was really, really starved and oversaturated by the looks of it at all these bases because we kept him contained with the Reaper Hellion Banshee. If there are any questions about the build, please list them below. If you guys have any other builds that you guys are looking at, or you just don't understand, or there's reactions from those kind of builds that you haven't exactly mapped out what you should do in that instance, feel free to post them. My email, my description, and kind of stuff like that will be in this YouTube video description below, so feel free to message me those. The whole idea of this Enter the Terran Mind YouTube series I'm trying to create is, well, I want to map out these builds for you and show you my responses, my reactions to them, to help better get a grasp of what to maybe do on your end. So it's like, if I opened up with Reaper Hellion Banshee and I seen him doing like a swarm host play, this would be my reaction. I would explain why. So hopefully you don't need to ladder grind games to come up with maybe the same kind of response. Things like your macro mechanics and things like that, they'll only improve over time. Obviously you need to get to a point where you need to force yourself to play faster and faster and faster, but the actual reaction to what you've scouted and when to scout is what this is mainly about, like, to understand why I'm doing things, so that way when you come across it you can go, I didn't exactly remember that on my own, but I remember watching a video and this is what happened. So then you can maybe make the adjustments yourself to make you a better Terran player. So that's my goal for this. Thanks for tuning in, guys. More videos to come. Stay tuned.